I was looking on Twitch to see the setup that streamers have, like what do they put in the background and how do they do their streaming layout. And what I noticed is that you have the streamer who's streaming on Twitch for like 4 hours a day. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of stream time, sometimes even more. But what's interesting is that most of the time they're not even there. Like, they go answer the phone and they're gone for 1 hour and the stream is just playing. And it's so bizarre. People don't do that on YouTube, from what I noticed. But they do it a lot on Twitch. Like, you know the Hassan Piker meme? Like, Hassan Piker reacts and there's a Tucker Carlson video and a microphone with no one behind it. Like, Hassan Piker is supposed to be behind the microphone, but he isn't. And it's kind of like that. Now, what's interesting is that there was a backlash against it. And people were complaining and they were saying, hey, you know, like, why are you doing this? And streamers came out saying, oh, well, we stream a lot, so we have to eat. And I'm like, no one does that on YouTube, though. I mean, why can't you stream during the night then? It's so fucking bizarre. But I do have some bad news. Apparently, there is some talk, I believe Asmongold is the one that brought it, that on Twitch, they are pushing for around 8-minute commercials per hour. So Twitch basically will pay you, and apparently it's a lot of money. According to Asmongold, is life-changing money, and a lot of people will take it. And that money is so that you play 8-minute worth of ads every hour. Now, I think that may actually ruin the platform. I mean, that's television, you know? That's why a lot of people moved away from television. So if it ruins Twitch, like, that would be the worst thing ever. Because imagine the entire Twitch community coming over to YouTube. Like, the way I look at Twitch is like a containment zone. It's a containment field. It keeps the crazy on that side of the internet. This is why I wasn't happy when NeoGAF ended up going under. Because all of those people moved on Reddit. Like, holy shit. And when Tumblr went down, all of those people went on Twitter. Like, believe it or not, Twitter was actually a fun platform before Tumblr went down. So I don't want Twitch to go down, because like all of those people from there are going to go in other places on the internet. Scary thing. So yes. Lamented Guide. Hello V. What's on the menu today? Well, Kanye West is on the menu today. I'm going to wait for more people to join the stream before I show you what Kanye has done lately. Apparently he is in the process of going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, according to his citation. And that's what he said, and he got banned from Twitter because of it. I believe Instagram as well. I haven't checked. But he got banned, yes. Even though he removed the tweet. So he tweeted that he will go DEFCON 3 on the chosen people. And then he got banned. Now, in response to this, leftists keep saying, hey, don't like it, build your own, right? Like, private company can do whatever it wants. So he actually is going to buy his own. He's going to buy Parler. Now, that's what we're going to be talking today. There's also something else which is bizarre. Elon Musk tweeted this. So we have Elon Musk doing the fusion dance from Dragon Ball with, I believe it's Kanye West. I don't know, but it says Parler on him, right? So Elon with Twitter and Parler, and he's doing the fusion dance, and he says fun times ahead. So who knows? People are on edge. I mean, CNN already came up with a hit piece. We're going to see it in a bit, and I think we have some interesting subjects to talk about today. We need to gatekeep the Twitch people out of YouTube. Like, how can you do that, man? How can you gatekeep people out of a platform? This is something that I never understood. Like, you can gatekeep someone by refusing to play with them, right? Like, for example, if you have a person that's not interested in playing the game, and he's very disruptive, he makes rude comments, makes the people there feel uncomfortable, you can choose not to play with that person. But, like, how can you prevent someone else from buying a board game? Like, you can't, right? So, no, the problem with Twitch is that they have this very toxic mentality. It's like, if they don't like something, They want to cancel it. It's like, oh, I don't like that person. Followers, please cancel. You know, we need to call it out. YouTube, be better. Be better, YouTube. Be a better corporation. I like that type of mentality, and that's the problem. CNN is always seeding, which is interesting because their ratings are going down really hard, and I think their new boss isn't happy because he tried making more right-wing content and more balanced takes on CNN recently. If you don't know, CNN is under new management, but apparently it's still not enough to save the ratings. Twitch is the root of all emoji spam. Man, if I see people pogging in the chat of YouTube, not you guys, okay? Like, today is the exception. If I see people pogging, I may start getting the ban hammer. I haven't banned anyone off my streams, very rarely. Besides chatbots, I did ban chatbots. And I did ban a couple of other people, like very few, maybe 2 or 3 in my entire career. But if I see people pogging, I'm going to snap. Like, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to freak out, you know, just... It's going to happen. And I just want to say, like, pogging is a more socially acceptable soy face. Right? Like, literally the same thing, but it's like soy face from the profile. Like, when you get arrested by the cops, and you have a soy face, and they tell you to take the picture like this, and you're like, oh? You know, like, look at it. Is this not pogging? How is this not pogging? So you're like... I mean, it is soy face. But it's like, it's a soy face from the profile. Yeah, so, what did Pog do to me? Nothing. It's just, a sign of a lower class. Twitch is like purgatory, a containment zone. If it were to dissolve, the souls of the dead will possess vehicles and eat human flesh to become sentient. Our reality will become the Cars universe. Man, Twitch is not the purgatory. Twitch is fucking hell. Like, I don't think there is a streaming website that's more vile and more despicable than Twitch on the entire internet, right? At least OnlyFans and Chatterbait, at least they're honest about their business model. At least, like, you have to be over 18 in order to get there. But on Twitch, there is no such thing. That's just... Like, there are entire... There are entire content creators on Twitter which are trying to show you images, and the game is to guess if it's Chatterbait or Twitch. And I tell you, it's very difficult. Like, most of the times, you really can't make the distinction. Especially what they do to the ear microphones. Holy shit. I mean, I get an ear infection. It's so bad that there are things on Twitch that if you show on YouTube, you get either your video age restricted, or you actually get a community guideline strike. YouTube doesn't fuck around. In fact, like, YouTube recently banned ASMR that's pornographically inclined. So, you know, like, there are actual Twitch girls which make sucking sounds on the microphone, and YouTube just banned that. Just like, okay, well, at least they are having some standards. But in, like, Twitch, no. Like, Twitch did ban gambling recently. Which, like, just so you can understand the mental retardation of the people running Twitch. So there was this controversy that some guy, this is my understanding, like, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really follow Twitch drama, but every now and then it's so radioactive that it gets to my ear. So there was this Twitch streamer which was borrowing money from people, and it was due to the fact that he had a gambling addiction, and people didn't know, right? So he was asking for donations, he was asking for money from other streamers to borrow him, because he had, like, financial distress. And he was using the money to gamble, right? Now, it wasn't on site, it was off site. Like, he was gambling the money off site, but due to that, like, Twitch banned gambling on site. Like, how the fuck does that make any sense, right? So, like, if first of all, I don't even know how much gambling was going on Twitch to begin with, but, like, surely there are, like, first of all, there are adults, right, of age, which should be able to gamble if they want to. I mean, I know it's a sin, but, like, come on, like, not everyone has an addiction. Like, there are people who just enjoy, like, betting on sports or stuff like that. CQC. Oh, yeah, I need to make a video about CQC. Apparently, he got groped at TwitchCon. and people were laughing at it, right? And because he's a guy, right? He's a man, and there was this fan which got a little bit grabby with him, and he was like, "I have a girlfriend, leave me alone," and she wouldn't. And according to him, he ran to the bathroom, and she was trying to follow him. And he doesn't understand why people were laughing about it. And like, I think people were laughing about it because you describe a Benny Hill sketch where you're just running away from that person. Like, why not just go to the security and explain the situation? Like, even if you're a man, right? I'm pretty sure security would understand. Like, you're a man and you can... And even if they don't... Look, even if, like, let's assume you're in a place where they don't believe that it's a problem for women to grope men, you can say that she tried to pickpocket you. That's it. You know, like, you can make the accusation. Right, like, I felt her hand on my ass. I think she was trying to reach for my wallet. There you go. Like, what are they going to do? You know, like, if you're really in a situation where, let's say the culture just doesn't believe that it's a problem for a man with a girlfriend to have another girl coming on to him and like that. Okay, then just say, well, she was trying to get for my wallet. Like, I felt her hand on my ass. I think she was trying to reach for my wallet. She was trying to pickpocket me. Maybe it was the cologne. Yeah, I mean, holy shit. CQC is a VTuber, isn't he? That's why women are grabbing. But in all reality, like, I think the reason people don't take it seriously is because it happens very rarely, right? Like, you don't... Like, there are other men who are struggling their entire teenage years to get a girl to even acknowledge them and look at them, right? So when you hear about another guy that, like, doesn't know how to get women away from him, like, you know, most people don't see that as a problem. Like, most people see that as hilarious, right? But it's not hilarious, especially if you have a girlfriend, like in his case. And, you know, like, privacy and the like, boundaries are important. And the problem is, like, if you are a famous person, if you're a football player, if you're a rock star, if you're a famous streamer, yeah, sure, then the experience of these people is different than the experience of random teenage guys, right? Especially since these people are also multimillionaires, and they do manage to attract quite a bit of attention. So yeah, it is not something funny. Like, it's not something hilarious. There was a crime being committed there. But the thing is, like, the way he reacted to the crime is why people on various forums find it hilarious. It's like, you're running around to the bathroom with this girl chasing you. Go to security. And oh my god, you're victim blaming. No, I'm not victim blaming. I'm telling other people, if it happens to you, right? If you become a professional streamer overnight and you have women chasing you, rather than trying to go to the bathroom, you go to the security, which is something that they should do. And if that doesn't work, just whip out your phone and start streaming there. You know, start streaming with her, and I'm pretty sure she's going to back off. But anyway, right, so the way he reacted was very weak. Yeah, I mean, like, the way it was described, it was very funny in a way. You know, it is what it is. I don't believe there is equality between men and women, especially there is equality under the law. But, like, culturally, right, like, surely if CQC was a woman and she had, like, one fan that was trying to grab her ass and she had to run to the bathroom, yes, people would react differently. But we do live in a society where gender roles do exist. And yeah, if you're a man and that happens to you, you're going to get less protection. But even with that lower amount of protection, you can still manage to find help. Like, go to the security, and if they don't believe you that she's grabby with you, then just say, like, well, she's trying to pickpocket me. Problem solved. You know, she was trying to get my phone. Is this what the Twitch community stands for? Is this blah, blah, blah. So yes, it's a serious matter. That woman could make a fake sex scandal because he's a millionaire. That is also true, right? Like, no, that is a good point, right? Like, there have been cases where activists, and you found on various forums, like, tactics that activists use, especially back in 2016, 2014. There were many CEOs at big corporations which did the Mike Pence rule by avoiding to be found alone with a woman in a room. Because what they would do is, like, they would go and try to be alone with the CEO, then another woman would take a photo, and then that woman would claim that she was being harassed or molested or whatever, and the CEO could end up losing his job. Right? So I do understand. Like, there are those types of tactics that have been done in the past, and if someone is afraid of them and wants to protect themselves by refusing to be in a situation where they're alone with a woman they don't know, with a stranger, basically. I mean, yeah, sure. I don't see a problem with that. I'm pretty sure, like, there will be left-leaning people and progressives saying, "Oh my God, that is horrible. Like, how can you?" It actually happened, with whom? Ninja. Back when Ninja was popular. So, Ninja was at the peak of popularity. He was the top streamer on Twitch. And he said that he doesn't want to play video games with other girls because he's married. And he doesn't want any rumors to come out and, the media to write something that would upset his wife. I think that's a that's a respectable position, right? Like, not everyone gets to play with Ninja. I can't play with Ninja, for example, if I want to, right? So, he would just say, like, okay, well, freedom of association. I have a wife. I don't want to play with girls that are strangers to me. And the media roasted him for it. It was like, oh my God, misogyny, sexismus. It's like, how is it misogyny and sexismus if he cares about what his wife thinks? Right? Like, he doesn't want to upset his wife. Why is that a problem? I mean, look, it happens quite often that when a person is in a relationship, they don't get to spend time with the friends of the opposite sex. I mean, I used to have in high school, as well as in the time when I went to the university and later on, I used to have many female friends, right? Like, girls that I would spend time with, that I would talk with. And more often than not, when they would get a boyfriend, they would stop hanging out with me, and I understood why. And the reverse is also true. When I was in a relationship, I would stop seeing women of opposite sex, unless my wife was there, or if we were in a group. Like, if we were in a group or my wife was there, then it was fine. But if, like, just going myself with a friend, to study or to just spend some time out together in a cafe, no. I mean, it even, I don't know, it depends on the culture, I guess. But the idea that I would sit at a table, right? Like, let's say I'm in a relationship and I sit at a table with another girl, right? And someone can pass on the street and they can recognize me. And then they will tell my wife. Imagine in what position that would be. Like my wife hearing like, oh, yes, like he was with another girl. And then I would have to come up with the explanations. It's like, well, she's a colleague and we didn't do anything, blah, blah, blah. But like, well, why even go to that point? It's the Mike Pence way. The Mike Pence rule is sacred. It's not just about like not getting me too'd. It's also about common sense and just normal behavior if you happen to be in a relationship. How often was I groped? I think it happened like 3 times that I was groped. So, the last time I was groped, I actually remembered I went out with a girl that I met online, and we didn't really hit off. I mean, there were a little bit of sparks there, but I felt that she wasn't interested, so I stopped seeing her, and then I moved on. I moved to another girl, and I ended up meeting her, like while I was waiting for the other girl to come on, she happened to also be there, like, 'cause we had the meeting place in the street. And I was like at a corner of a street waiting for my date. And then I see her, and she was like a little bit upset that I'm seeing someone else, and that I'm not pursuing her anymore. And she groped me. She groped my crotch. I was traumatized. I was traumatized because the other girl might come on and see it, but other than that, it was fine. Still, I think like once a man reaches the age of 35, 36-year-old, a lot of stuff will happen to you. Obviously, it's not like I'm pretty sure if you ask a woman like how many times she was groped by strangers, the number will be a lot higher. But I think, yeah, like it happens to men as well. Very rarely, but it does happen. Like in 36 years of existence, you might end up having it happen once or twice. Yeah, but it was around 7 p.m., dog. So the street was a little bit empty. It was kind of like a French street with a lamplight. But anyway, right, they couldn't keep their hands off my squeaky voice. Yeah, around 3 times, I would say. But still, like, what do you do in that situation? Do you go to the cops and you're like, oh my God, I was harassed? Like, I don't think that this is something unusual. I think it does happen to most men. But very rarely, as I mentioned. Like once, maybe twice. Don't sit alone in a cafe. V, also, I'm streaming with 10,000 VTuber women. Well, I don't think internet counts. You're not just sexy, you're a lawyer and a doctor that works in society and post-society. That is true. Like, women are actually attracted. Like, if you want to dress to impress, like, if you want to do a picture for a dating app profile and you want to attract women, what really gets them going is a uniform. And I'm not talking about military. Like, any type of uniform. So if you have a firefighter uniform, right? Like, but like, if you're actually a firefighter, right? Like, if it's your job, and you wear the uniform from work, and you put it on social media, they will like that. It doesn't matter if it's firefighter, police officer, unless you don't want to attract leftists. Doctors, lawyers, like anything that symbolizes a profession that's of renown, right? So if you dress like an Italian plumber, that might not work. Or if you dress like the garbage collector. But like if you dress as a profession that's renowned, and by renown, I mean have prestige. Yeah, you're going to impress a lot of ladies. Soviet worker uniform, no. French maid, no. SS Panzer... You know what? That might actually work. Like, you may attract some bizarre individuals, but you'll attract them nonetheless. Cosplay does not count as uniform, no. Neither does Halloween. No, like, have a uniform that... is from your line of work. An aviation uniform. Holy shit. I mean, that would actually work. Sailor. Construction worker works too? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know if construction workers work, but like... by the way, if you want to appear... there is another thing, right? Like, women enjoy a man that looks intimidating, but at the same time, he appears tame. Now... what I mean by this is, like, if you have a beard, you know, and like Keemstar or someone like that, right? So your face is covered with the beard. Women like that. But they also want to feel a little bit safe. So what a lot of social justice activists do is that they put a cartoon picture of themselves. Or they put a little bird or a cat or something on and they make a soy face, right? That's not what you should do. What you should do is, like, take a picture with your grandma. Like, I'm not kidding. You know, like, you put it on the dating website, not on the dating website. You put it on your social media, like on Facebook or something like that. Happy birthday, grandma. And you put a picture next to her. Like, women actually like that. But if you don't have a grandma, like I do, because she passed away, pay an old lady. Pay an old lady and take a picture. And be like, happy birthday, grandma. And that's it. Yeah, like Jack Murphy. Jack Murphy, despite the controversy, right? He does sport an impressive beard, right? So if Jack Murphy would take a picture with the grandma, it's a lot better than taking a picture with a cat. All right, like taking a picture with a cat is fucking cringe. Don't do it. Don't take a picture with an animal. It's so no. It used to be great, but now it's not, right? So no cats, no canaries, no unless you have like a rare animal. Like if it's a monkey, if it's like something exotic, which is like, wow, you know, like he actually went to the jungle and he managed to take a picture with a chimpanzee. Okay, yeah, sure, but other than that, no. So outdated. Look, classical things do not get outdated, all right? Like, classical things, they work, and they work for a fucking reason. Shut the fuck up. You ever see film from baseball games in the 50s? Every man is wearing a suit and a hat. All the women are in nice dresses, and the kids look like they're on their way to church. That's interesting. Picture with the silverback. Yeah, if you put a picture with a silverback, that might actually work. I mean, holy shit, a picture with a silverback. Put pictures, drinking, travel, and this garbage. Women want adventure. Yeah, traveling pictures are actually okay, because it shows you have money. And you know, like, it makes them want to travel with you. So like if you have like but like traveling pictures, especially if they're in exotic places, so tropical islands, if you happen to go to the pyramids, if you are in a zoo and you take a picture with a penguin or some shit like that, yeah. Just don't do the soy face and don't travel to like somewhere nearby. Like if you're in the United States and you just travel, like if you're in New York and you travel to the Statue of Liberty, that doesn't count. Okay, don't take pictures if you're at a rural area. No, it needs to be traveling pictures in exotic places that are very famous and expensive to go to. Fiji is a great example. All right. Do not take a picture with a kitten or a puppy, Robina. Do not do that. That is cliche. That has been done. Yeah, you are going to be man number 1475 that has taken the picture with the kitten and a puppy that she saw that day. All right. So whatever you do not take a picture with a kitten or a puppy. Jesus fucking Christ. I'll tell you this though. If you want to talk with women on the street and you don't have the confidence, then you can get the kitten and the puppy. Like if you train your cat to walk on a leash, like you're going to get so many women approach you, it's unfucking real. I taught my cat, my Bengal, to sit at the chair or a restaurant. So I would go with my Bengal on a leash. It was very cute and adorable. So the cat would walk on a leash. It would stop at manholes and put its paw in, like, instant attraction, right? So I wasn't even trying to date during that period because I was already with someone. But I would go to the restaurant, which was close by. It had like a buffet where you could eat anything, and it was very cheap. And as I was sitting there, like there would be girls that would come up to me and they wanted to make a picture with the cat. And if I wanted to talk to them, if I wanted to actually get engaged with them, it was very easy to do. Because they would approach you. They wanted to see the cat. But you need to have like a cool animal, right? Like, I don't know if a dog would have worked. Unless it's a husky. Unless it's like something, of a rare breed. And the same with like a cat, right? Because you usually don't see people walking cats in leash. But if you have like... a bunny, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but you can train your bunny to walk in a harness, right? So like there's many ways that you can gain the confidence of talking to women on the street, and that way you don't get accused of harassment because they're harassing you now. Get a small child. I have no idea if it works with a small child, but like with a small child, I think like they would just be attracted by the child and they're not going to be interested in you. I don't know if women like single fathers, though. Like, I have no idea how that interaction works out. Anyway, let's talk about Kanye, because this is the topic of the video. I just waited for people to join. Oh, we got new news. TikTok has banned the term White Lives Matter. Yes. TikTok has banned the term White Lives Matter, and Apple's Siri also appears to have blocked the term after Kanye West avidly promoted the slogan over the last 2 weeks. I mean, look, you don't want competition. Like, it's a monopoly on lives mattering, so you don't want this. This was an excellent troll, by the way. Obviously, liberals reacted the way it's expected. Liberals, they respect their culture a lot. They don't care about modern culture, like, for example. So they don't care about conservative culture, but they treat their own culture with a lot of prestige. And they don't fuck around when it comes to defending the stuff they create. So if you look at the way liberals reacted to conservatives over that lady which was twerking while playing a historical flute, right? When she played the flute, wearing a suit, and she played it, no one cared. But then when she went skimpily clad and was twerking while playing it, then people got upset, and the liberals were like, oh, why are you piecing your pants? Why are you getting so upset? Nya, nya, nya. But they understand how to protect their stuff. They understand how to protect their territory. Like, the moment this happens, they started doing activism, and corporations like TikTok decided to ban the phrase. It's interesting that Asian Lives Matter didn't get banned. But like this is problematic. And it is problematic because there were flyers in Britain which said it's okay to be white, and clearly it isn't, because they create, no, like, that's what the Nazis did. Like that, you know, the moment Hitler got in power, he was like, oh, white lives matter, or it's okay to be white, and like from that stemmed all of the problems, right? So leftists, they want to prevent another Holocaust, and they don't like it when people wear these types of shirts. I mean, they're dangerous. Holy shit. It's like the military. No, I think like the military, they have access to these shirts, and when America goes to war, they will unleash these shirts because they are very dangerous and powerful, it's more powerful than the atomic bomb to have such a shirt, right? It's very problematic. So normally Kanye has gotten into trouble for it, and I think that's how it started, because maybe it's due to the midterms, or I don't know why, but like Kanye is doing his best in order to piss off as many people as possible on the left. So yeah, liberals do create. Why are you shocked? I mean, look, I'm just going to show you something. This is a liberal creation, right? Like, it started from the rainbow flag, which represented sexualities, and this is now the conservative flag. Like, when you're going to see a right-winger talk about LGBT issues, he uses this flag. And they were like, well, we can't use what conservatives use. We need to be different. So now they created this. And you can see Marxism. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, this is the queer theory. It's the Marxist ideology from the academia, which is eating away at what the original purpose used to be. Like, the original purpose was to represent sexual minorities. What does black and brown have to do with it? Well, now it's about races. It's intersectionality, right? And intersectionality is a Marxist theory. It's critical theory. But this, like, is a liberal creation, and they care about it. I mean, in the UK, there was a pride flag painted on the sidewalk, and someone left tire marks over it. And they started an investigation. I mean, in UK, the number of burglaries that are left unsolved is staggering. But when someone leaves tire marks over something that liberals value, well, and they have to take measures. I mean, look, they need to show that if you vote properly, you matter, and your culture is important. Right. So, Kanye West got removed, according to the Washington Compost, Jeff Bezos post. He said that he's going to go to DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Now, I believe that he is part of this esoteric ideology. I don't know how proeminent it is, actually, because the media doesn't really like to talk about this ideology at all. Like, they want to pretend it doesn't exist. And I'm not really familiar with it that much, but I think I know some of the basics. Please correct me, as usual, if I'm wrong. But it's the black Israelites, right? So these people that are part of the ideology, they believe that the Jewish people were actually black, and they were displaced from Israel by the white Jews, and they believe that they are the lost tribe of Israel, and that the Jewish people are out to get them. I believe this is what the ideology entails. And obviously, there is this sort of anti-Semitic aspect to it, right? And you used to find videos with these proponents on YouTube, but for some reason those videos disappeared, and you're not going to find them anymore. And it does seem that Kanye West is now an adept of this particular ideology. He said it was a spelling mistake and acknowledged he meant DEFCON 3. What is that? How is DEFCON 3 and DEFCON 3 different? Like, what is... Like, DEFCON, as I understand, is a state where the military is ready to launch nukes. Right? Like, you have various escalations in the military, right? So there's different codes, like standby. And you have, like, DEFCON 1, DEFCON 2, DEFCON 3, and as you go all the way up, you eventually have the nukes at the ready. So that's what DEF CON means. But like when you have DEF and then a space con, isn't that the same thing? I missed the old Kanye. This spaz in the news, Kanye. Well, anyway, as a punishment for this, literally the next day he got deplatformed from Chase Bank. JP Morgan had something to say about it. And people pointed out that JP Morgan didn't ban people who were proven of having a history of pedophilia. Like, that was fine. They could keep their accounts, but Kanye West can't. And it's interesting because Kanye West is now the most rich black man in US history. Like, I didn't know that, to be honest. It caught me by surprise a little bit. But he became a certified billionaire a year ago, as did his soon-to-be ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. Kanye West has become the richest black man in US history. His net worth reported to reach $6.6 billion. The new total has been reported by Bloomberg and gives West a commanding lead over the likes of investors and businessmen. After claiming he was $53 million, $38 million in debt just 3 years ago, the rapper and fashion tycoon became a certified billionaire last year with the help of his successful apparel and trainer brand Yeezy and a new multi-year contract clothing retailer Gap. According to Bloomberg, West Yeezy brand and deals with Gap and sportswear giant Adidas is valued at $3.2 billion to $4.6 billion. The new Yeezy Gap line is set to release this summer. So basically he's making money through his music as well as the apparel which he promotes. And I'm pretty sure like a lot of right-wingers, you know, they like Kanye. And that probably factors a little bit into the marketing. Reality star Kim Kardashian, who herself became a billionaire last summer, recently filed for divorce. TMZ said sources described the divorce as amicable, saying that Kardashian West is asking for joint legal and physical custody of the couples of children, of course. Despite the COVID pandemic, sales for Yeezy Adidas trainers continues to grow. In annual revenue last year, he made $191 million in royalties. An unaudited balance sheet of West Finances has also revealed that West has $112 million in cash. Well, doesn't this show that if you market to right-wingers right now, you make more money? Kind of ironically, all the marketing is focused on left-leaning people. And the problem, like, okay, first of all, I just want to point out, it would be preferable if people do not bring politics into marketing, right? I really disagree with the new way of doing marketing and, you know, using social media to sell a product by advertising for a political candidate is kind of gross, divisive. But if you're going to market for politics, the market is super saturated with left-leaning politics. Like almost every single company advertises left-leaning politics, whether they believe in it or not. So people don't believe you if you advertise. First of all, like a lot of people find it cringe because, well, the establishment is left-leaning. Like the Democrats control the House right now as I'm making this live stream. They control the Senate. They control the White House. So, you know, they're in power. And most people don't like necessarily, you know, like usually people support the opposition, the anti-establishment. But if you advertise for right-wingers, people will believe you because you need to be insane to do that. I don't think anyone would advertise for right-wingers unless they actually believe in right-wing messages. So if you have like a right-wing thing, which is like Kanye did, you know, he took pictures with Donald Trump and he's going on right-wing talk shows and he advertises himself pro-family. And like all of these things, they matter, and it seems to work. It seems to have garnered him support, and he's now one of the richest black men in U.S. history. V for real, you sometimes seem smart, so please explain. How are people so easily deceived? Okay, I'll show you how people are deceived. Probably make a video about it. But okay, give me a second. I'll show you in a bit. Copy. Doesn't want to copy. All right, I'll make another one. Just a second, chat. It will be worth it. All right. I will show you how people are easily deceived. Now, just need to finish my Picasso. Okay. So, which circle is bigger, chat? They look the same, but I made one circle a little bit bigger than the other one. So I want you to tell me which one do you think is bigger. If you think the red circle is bigger, press 1. If you think the green circle is bigger, press 2. Right? So I made one of the circle. I look at it again. I made one of them on purpose, just a little bit bigger than the other one. They seem equal, but like I made one of them a little bit bigger. So please tell me which one do you think it is. Just push it in the chat. You know, is it 1 or is it 2? Alright, so as you can see, a lot of people are responding with 1s and 2s. The reality is, and I'm pretty sure like people who gave the correct response may have seen this before. But if you gave the correct response, you should be proud of yourself because it shows that you actually do think for yourself. The circles are the same. They're not, like I copy-pasted the same circle. But because I told you that a circle is bigger than the other, you believed me. Right? So you didn't use your own thought process. Like, even though your eyes were telling you that they're equal, you decided to actually trust me because I'm in a position of authority. I haven't dissuaded you in the past that many times. So, by using an information that you knew it was false, if it went through my mouth, you now believed it. Like, you actually thought that one of the circles is bigger, even though your eyes are telling you that they're the same. And when it comes to a circle, it's obvious, like, this is nonsense, right? It's just an experiment. But I want you to imagine when it's a controversial issue, when it's something polarizing, when it's something highly emotional, and you have someone in the media telling you something that's not true. Now, you also have to account for peer pressure. Like, if I were to use something that's controversial, like, for example, alinity, right? Like, what happened with... No, sorry, not with alinity. What happened with Amaranth recently, right? What happened with Amaranth, you watch the stream, you get your own opinions on it, but after that, there are people who know they can't influence anything, right? Like, Amaranth is a multi-millionaire, and there is nothing you can do to help her. Like, that is the reality, okay? Like, she's got millions of other fans. She is in a position where she has the resources to help her. You personally can't do anything to help her. But there are people which are now into two factions, right? And they believe, like, one faction believes that it was staged, that it wasn't real, or, you know, they say that she shouldn't have given access to her bank accounts to the husband. And then there's the other faction, which is like, no, she is 100% innocent. Like, they know that she is... like, she shouldn't be criticized in any way, shape, or form. And they go out on the internet, and these sides are now attacking each other, and they put a lot of emotion into it. I mean, there's curse words involved, reporting, trying to get people deplatformed, right? Like, it's very... It's almost as if it happens to someone in their family, right? But in reality, like, nothing they do matters, because it's... Like, they can't help Amaranth at all. Like, nothing they do changes the situation in which Amaranth is in. Nothing they do is going to influence it one way or another, right? Like, it's just her decision now if she wants to file a divorce or not. But what I'm trying to say is that when you have, like, something which is a lot more emotional, all it takes is for a person in authority to tell you the version of events, and the human psyche wanting to belong, wanting to... not cause arguments, wanting to seek other people that are on your team, you're going to be willing to believe it. And it literally is like your team, their team, right? So like if you are Team Red and you want to belong to Team Red, then you're going to have to accept certain things that you may not like just to remain in Team Red. Woman crying makes my body spill crazy hormones. I can't control it. Man, like I also don't know how to react when a woman is crying. Like, fortunately, I didn't have that many cases where it happened. But, like, I just don't want to be there. I just leave the room, you know? Like, when you calm down, please call me. I'm not interested in that. I mean, like, if you want to have a intellectual argument, sure. But the moment the waterworks come out, like, I'm just out. I used to have some exes which would get very emotional over things. And they would start crying. Not because I made them cry or anything, but like because they were on that particular time of the month where they were more sensitive and they saw the sunset and they started to cry, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm a little bit weird like that. I'm like, just like when you calm down, call me. I'm just going to leave for a little bit. Is that wrong, chat? Is that wrong? It's probably wrong. Huh? Like I'm pretty sure like someone who's trained in empathy and compassion, who went to the empathy boot camp, would tell me that why that is wrong to have this reaction. It is. I mean, it's interesting because the mainstream media had around 20 or 30 articles released at the beginning of 2015 talking about white girl's tears. Like, just Google that, white girl tears. And you will see how the mainstream media is explaining how, oh, white women are using tears in order to manipulate people, and they call the cops on innocent black people. Like, that was like an entire slew of articles, right? So, like, it's not like it is unknown that people can use tears in order to manipulate people, because it does affect your lizard brain. Like, when a person is crying, you immediately want to help. But the problem is, like, just if you know, like, children, right? Like, children cry. Like, sometimes the crying can be justified, other times the crying can be manipulative in action. So, like, if you take a child, like when I was a kid, because I remember, you know, like most people, for some reason, they don't remember their childhood. But, like, I remember I would go to a store with my mother, and I would ask for her to buy me an ice cream. And she would refuse, right? But I really wanted the ice cream, and I knew that if I cried, my mom will eventually give me the ice cream. So, like, it wasn't that I was in distress, it wasn't that I was mistreated or anything like that. But I knew that if by crying I get the positive response, so of course I would start to cry. And many children are like that, right? And it's possible that even adults who realize that they get what they want when they cry, they do it. Men, for example, this is a problem. Like, some men realize that if they scream and they shout, they get their way. So, for example, if you want to do an experiment, think about this particular experiment, actually. You go to a kiosk, you get a bag of chips, you eat 5 chips, and then you want to get your money back for the bag, right? So, hold on. Let's do this experiment, chat. Tell me what you think, right? So, you go to a kiosk. You buy a pack of Pringles. You eat 5 Pringles, and then, in order to win the experiment, you have to get your money back for the whole thing, right? So you open the thing, you ate 5, and now you want to get your money back. Now, there's 2 ways of doing it. You can go there and you can politely say that, yeah, I want my money back, you know, like, whatever, I didn't like the taste. Or you can be very aggressive, and you go and you shout and you scream and you cause a scene, and it attracts the entire place, and you're like, I'm going to file a lawsuit because these Pringles they taste rotten and they're expired, and you're trying to poison me, you're trying to poison the customers, I demand my money back, right? You're going to notice that the person who's screaming and is acting like an imbecile and a troglodyte is often going to get their way, which explains why there are so many men out there who yell and scream and shout all the time, because they get their way. The problem with it is that if you behave like this constantly, people don't want to associate with you. So you might get what you want on the short term, but on the long term, you will not be a very pleasant person to be around, right? And this is the same with the boss that screams all the time. Right? Like, why does he do it? Because he gets what he wants by screaming. And it's the same, I guess, like with women crying, right? Like, they don't scream because they're not as intimidating as a muscular man. But, like, still, if you... Like, just like children find ways in manipulating their parents in order to get what they want, so do spouses in a relationship are going to find various methods to manipulate the opposite gender. So, yeah, I mean, you need to make a distinction. The same way when a man screams, like, does he have a reason to? Is he actually having a point? Or is he just using it as a way to get what they want in order to bully you to back down because you don't want to hear the screaming anymore or you're afraid that he's going to escalate? And it's the same thing with women, like sometimes when they cry, and I'm not saying that this is the case of Amoraf, I'm talking in general, right? Like relationship-wise. Like sometimes they can cry with a legitimate reason, like they actually have an actual problem and you should address it, but there can also be a manipulation tactic used by some other people. Women are, they have qualities and they have flaws. And it depends from person to person. What about the chain of screaming? Oh, no, like, when someone screams at you, the best way to calm them down is to talk like you're unimpressed. You maintain your voice, and you look at them, like, with a, like, like that. And you just look at them like this, and then you talk with the normal voice. And you'll see how they get angrier, and then they calm the fuck down. Like, if you scream as well, you're going to end up in a shouting match. Unless you're very intimidating. Like, if you're incredibly intimidating, and you step up to them, and they're like half your size, they're going to calm down. But if not, just like, have this very bored attitude where you're looking like, what the fuck do you want, man, And they're going to calm down. Tell you what your future holds? Not giving me super chats. Eddie Murphy Isekai. The time I didn't want to get married and got transported to Wakarnos. Anyway, going back to Kanye, CNN immediately launched a counterattack. Here we go. I hope you guys can hear it.
Look, Parler is a haven of hate. It's a cesspool of bigotry that resembles 4chan a lot less than Facebook.
Facebook is already an extremist, radical, far-left indoctrination platform where they use their algorithm to manipulate the news. I mean, Zuckerberg said that under the pressure of the FBI, they manipulated the news with the Hunter Biden scandal. With Kyle Rittenhouse, they also forbade people at the beginning from claiming that what he did was self-defense. But they allowed people in the media who was claiming that he is a murderer, right? So, which is why Facebook is getting sued. But more interestingly than that, the January 6th thing, which Parler got the platform for, apparently was organized on Facebook and Twitter. Right? So, that is very interesting. But yeah, the media, they do the circle thing, which I showed you earlier. Like they give you the information. It's like, yes, because that's editorializing, right? Like they're not showing you examples of things that are vile on Parler. They're not giving you a stat like how much hate speech is on Parler compared to how much hate speech is on Facebook. No, like they will just flat out claim that Parler is worse without showing any evidence. And by the way, I remember Parler when it was popular. It had things that were like, here's 12 reasons why golf is better than sex. And I'm like, like that is something that I can see. If I go with some friends at a pub and we're drunk, we can actually have that type of conversation because it's funny and hilarious, right? Meanwhile, what was trending on Twitter? The Holocaust. And I'm like, how many times do you go out with your friends and you discuss the Holocaust? Like, how much does the topic even remotely comes out? How many times does that even, come into the conversation? Right? So, I just wanted to say, no, I don't think Parler is a hate group. Now, given the fact that Kanye is the one that's going to buy it, who the fuck knows? But what I do want to point out is that it is currently owned by the husband of that other black conservative lady, Candace Owens. Right. So Candace Owens owns Parler right now. And I don't think that it's going to change that much if Kanye owns it. I mean, I guess, you know, he might get his own base there. Like, people who like Kanye might go to Parler. But due to his newfound ideology of black Israelites and whatnot, I think it's going to become a little bit more spicy than Gab. And the problem is, if you want to have people on your social media app, you need to attract corporations. And I don't think Kanye is going to manage to do that. But who knows? You know, like, I'm all for alternative platforms. I don't mind if there's alternatives and other places you can go on the internet. Sounds like my pop needs a little bit of re-education, yes. You should just make an instance on the Fediverse. Yeah, the Fediverse is actually becoming very popular. Someone tell Kanye to have a do not divide us flag. Oof. Password with a $$ sign. Oh my god, that's... that would be so funny. By the way, chat, you know what I thought? I was thinking about this yesterday. Apparently Kanye did something else that's bad. I mean, this is what I was seeing on Twitter yesterday. So Kanye was promoting, according to the media, the white supremacist conspiracy theory that Mr. Floyd passed away due to drugs in his system, which was debunked at the trial. And now the family is considering a lawsuit against him. And I'm thinking, like, is it... Well, hold on. Like, is it the person that's getting slandered the one that has to sue? Like, can the family sue on the behalf of the... Whatever. But what I liked is that immediately many people in the media were referencing Alex Jones. It was like, like Alex Jones. It's like, well, it's a different situation, right? Like, I don't know. But I'm starting to think that Alex Jones wasn't punished because the victims needed to get money in return for damages. It was to make an example out of him, right? I don't know, dude. I'm telling you what the mainstream media says. Shut the fuck up. I'm telling you the authoritative sources. Now, I was thinking, like, look, if Alex Jones got $1 billion in damages, right? Why not fine him the entire debt of the United States? So you put, like, how much debt does the US have? Like, how many $1 trillion does the US have in debt? Like $4 trillion, right? So Alex Jones has to pay the damages of $4 trillion. And then you manage to get the US out of debt. Why didn't they do that? Isn't that a good idea, right? Like Jesus Christ, you know, like Jesus, like all the sins of humanity, like he had to pay for all of humanity's sins, and then they put him on a cross, and humanity found redemption. So just like that, but with Alex Jones, like put all the debt in the United States on him, like 32 trillion. Okay, so Alex Jones should pay $32 trillion in damage, and then he files for bankruptcy, and the debt just goes away. Wouldn't that work? Do I have any economists in the chat? Yeah, like put all the trillions on Alex Jones, and then he files for bankruptcy, and the US gets out of debt. See, I have solved the US debt. Why is no economist contacting me? Why am I being marginalized? Like, I have all these beautiful ideas, and no one wants to talk to me about them. Yeah, $4 trillion is less than the Afghanistan cost. Oh, I see. I don't know, like put 50. You know what? You can even put like 50 trillion on him so that the future debt is accounted for. So now, like, when America goes another trillion in debt, it's already paid by Alex Jones. What Eighth Amendment violation? Dude, if we're going to, like, you know, I realize that after a number, it doesn't really matter. Like, look, if you go 10 years in prison, like, that's a lot, right? 10 years, holy shit. And then 20 years, that's even worse. But at one point, like, if you get, I don't know, you get life in prison, right? Like, life in prison would be, you know, like, if you get 40 years in prison, you kind of wonder, will I ever get out? Right? You start to wondering, like, at 40 years. But if you get, like, 70 years in prison, like, you know that 70 years in prison means you'll never get out, so it's life, right? So you don't really care at that point. Like, okay, you got used to the idea. I mean, it's really bad. But the difference between 70 years in prison and 1,000 years in prison doesn't exist. Because either you get 70 and you know you never get out, or you get 1,000 years and you know you never get out. It's the same shit. And it's the same like when you have to pay a fine. If you have to pay a reasonable amount, like if it was like $2 million, like sure, you know, like he could probably pay that and it would be crippling. But if you give him like 100 million and he doesn't have 100 million, well, he's not going to pay it. So for him, 100 million or 1 trillion is the same shit. Like you're never going to be able to pay it. V is saying all our money is fiat and doesn't matter with Alex Jones' debt transfer idea. Shut up. Alex Jones should counter. I think he's going to file an appeal, yes. The brain chip sentences, Jesus. Criminals don't get prison. They get the Nobel Prize. Oh, shit. 70 years, and so you go after Jeffrey Dahmer and think it's a win, even though you deprive the world of laughter. I don't get that reference, but okay. Doesn't Alex Jones' fine debt of 1 billion expire in some... No. I don't think so. Like, I think they can seize his assets. I don't know how the US works. So here, if you get, let's say, if I were to have to pay $1 million, right? Obviously, I can't pay it. So what would happen is that the bank would evict me out of my home. It would then sell everything that I have in my house. And they would, take away the money from that. And then the debt would follow me for the rest of my life. So the moment I have an inheritance, the moment I get a job, the moment I earn money in any way, a percentage of that would go to pay my debt. So, like, my bank accounts would be frozen, and I would only be able to withdraw something in the lines of 30%, right? So if I make $100 in my bank, the bank would automatically give $70 to the government, and $30 I would be able to withdraw. So, like, for the rest of my life, I would be kind of like a slave, kind of like an indentured servitude. Like, I would have to pay that $1 million. And this is how my government deals with debt of any type, right? Like, especially sums that you can't pay, like, realistically. Like, $1 million I would never be able to pay. But they would follow you for years until eventually you manage to pay at least a part of that. What about 400 years for trying to escape Obama? Send Alex to fight Putin in the ring? Ooh. We are literal slaves. No, like, you could choose not to work, and many people do, actually. But the moment you want to get a job, or the moment you earn money in any way, then you have to pay. Anyway, right. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And I'll see you all tomorrow.